based on your experiences, how has ISO 20022 helped corporate actions processing?
Right now, ISO 20022 has helped us personally. I can only speak from my perspective. It has allowed us to interact and to notify the clients more timely. By that, what I mean is we take in the file on throughout the day, and once an announcement is spit out to us, we then forward it on to the client, so the client is notified immediately, straight through. It also allows us to educate our staff as opposed to what ISO is and how it's supposed to streamline the industry. We're not up to the point right now where, as far as payment being streamlined or standardized, but as far as interacting with the client and keeping the client informed, so far it's been very beneficial.
Would you encourage other firms to also embrace it?
Well, it's not that I would want them to embrace it or encourage them. They're going to have to. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you view standardization, you should view it as a fortunate. It's the future. It's the way the industry is going. You need standardization. Instead of all this, so this is what I meant, this is what you should have said, it's now in one standardized format. So there's no more miscommunication. You don't want any miscommunication in corporate actions, because that can really cause a huge problem. Losses, risk, we try to limit that, and I think standardization is also trying to do that. So it's beneficial to everybody to get on board with standardization.
How do regulations help with straight-through processing for corporate actions systems?
Right now, that's a very good question, by the way. Right now, I don't think that there's a really good answer to that, because we're still in the midst of the regulation. Everybody right now is still trying to find out what are they being regulated for. If you complete one regulation, there's another one coming up. So there's so many hurdles to get to where we finally get through where we're at a straight-through processing world in corporate action. I think, as I said earlier, it's very important to educate the client, to let the client know that there's regulations in certain markets or certain instruments that they're investing in that they need to be aware of. Also, as far as that, you need to educate your staff. You need to have the staff fully aware of market rules, of country taxation rules. There's so much regulation right now in corporate action that besides the risk on a regular corporate action event and the convolution of a corporate action event, you now have regulations. You need to make sure that you're in compliance, because if you're not in compliance, not only are you at risk of losing the offer, but you're also at risk of getting fined.
And lastly, do you think like 5 years from now, most firms will be using ISO 20022?
I definitely think so. Absolutely. It's the future. 95% of the firms that are out there are DTC participants. This is going to be mandatory through DTC. I hate to use the word push down your throat, because that sounds like a very bad term, and it sounds very hurtful. It's not hurtful at all. ISO 20022 is here to help us. It's here to make our jobs easier. It's here to make our lives easier, because we're all going to be on the same page. We're all going to understand what the language is, what the standard language is, and DTC is only there to help facilitate that. So yes, it's definitely going to be a beneficial impact.